Do you ever feel like it's a waste of money to buy cut flowers because they die immediately, they make a mess, and they're gross? Well, if you like being surrounded by flowers like I do, but you don't want to deal with all that, consider the orchid. And allow me to give you a crash course on just how fun, easy, and inexpensive it is to care for the world's most beautiful family of flowering plants. Now, you might be asking yourselves, what qualifies me to talk to you about orchid care? Let me assure you, I have no training whatsoever. My background was not vetted for this talk at all. I'm not sure what you expected, but most of you paid $15 for 11 speeches. What I do have is credentials in the form of the beautiful orchids you're about to see behind me, many of which have rebloomed year after year. Thank you. I also have 10 years of experience as a volunteer orchid rehabilitator for my lazy and careless friends. So, since you've paid top dollar tonight, I've worked very hard to boil down everything you need to know about orchid care into 5 key points. So let's dive in. After you go out orchid shopping, get your favorite orchid or 2, bring it home, and you're going to think about water. Set a reminder on your phone for once a week to soak your orchid's roots in water for a few minutes. That's it. Fill the pot with water, let it sit, and then lift up this little handy basket and drain it out completely. You have to drain it out completely. If you do not drain the pot, the roots will rot, your orchid will die, and I will have to hear about it in the comments section of the YouTube version of this talk, and nobody wants that. Next, you're going to think about light. Now, orchids evolved in tropical climate under tree canopy, so they prefer bright, indirect sun. They do not like the rays beating down on them directly. North-facing windows tend to be good for this, but really anywhere that has bright, indirect sun is perfect. Now, the third point is very interesting, and I'm going to say something to preface it, and I want you all to hear me. The flowers are not the orchid. The flowers are the flowers. When the flowers die, the orchid lives on unless you throw it in the trash can like an absolute heathen. The flowers grow from something called a flower spike. It's like a stem. When the flowers eventually do wilt and start to fall off, get a sharp, clean pair of scissors, cut off the flower spike right at the base, and then keep caring for your orchid as you normally would. In a matter of months, if you do a good job, a new flower spike will emerge, and new flowers will bloom. And you can use the original stake and clips that came with your orchid to guide the new flower spike upwards. And this is the part I think is really fun, because you don't ever know if you're going to get 1 spike. You might get 2 spikes. You might even get 3 spikes. Or you might get 1 giant spike that outgrows your 6-year-old son. This is Keaton. Thank you. So that's pruning and staking. Let's talk about fertilizer. Every 4th or 5th time you water your orchid, mix a pinch of this blue stuff into the water before you do. This is the brand that's worked best for me. I'm not getting any sponsorship money for this talk, but if the Better Grow people are watching, make sure you follow the instructions on the bag, because too much fertilizer will burn and kill your orchid, and we will end up back in the YouTube comments. Finally, when your orchid outgrows the pot, this does not happen very often, maybe every 2 years. You have to be careful, though, because some stores try to sell them to you like this. I actually took this picture in a store. Get yourself a slightly bigger pot, and you're going to get a $6 bag of orchid potting mix. This is a mix of bark, moss, and perlite. You can get at any garden shop. Carefully remove the orchid from the original pot. Brush off the old potting mix, and then place it into the new pot while you're pouring the potting mix in, and stuff the potting mix around it. Pack it in there nice and tight. That's everything you need to know about orchid care, everything, to surround yourselves with beautiful flowers all year round without much time, effort, or expense. So I want to congratulate you for graduating from the Nick Bayard School of Orchid Care. Thank you. Go forth, wield your awesome new powers wisely. If you decide after this that orchids just aren't for you, then I don't understand you or your life or your choices. But I do hope that you go out and try to find something that brings you as much joy and excitement as these crazy plants, for some reason, bring to me. Thank you.